Welcome to the call, everybody. Okay, so
What are you chuckling about?
I'm just full of joy. Full of joy.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
let's try this
Which
again.
is like, perfect because, you were saying to me just a little earlier before we started this
Yeah.
about what do you put in your mind and stuff like that. And with the craziness,
wait a second.
craziness.
Let me just see if I can remember this.
Well, we'll look at it if you have to. But what I'm saying about the craziness of the world that's going on right now.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? To be chuckling constantly is kind of good. It's a
Yeah.
good thing. Yeah.
Well, he's referring to. I was walking my dog the other day, and I came upon. I can't remember which church it is, but it has a little board out there, and they put a little inspirational message, and it said, "If you want peace of mind, pay attention to what you allow in."
That's it.
So all the way back from my walk, I kept reciting it. I'm like, I gotta tell Larry, I gotta tell Larry, I gotta tell Larry, and I remembered, yay! But it's so true, but it's so hard to do. I mean, I have been receiving messages for years from God and the angels and spirits saying, live your life free of fear. But it's hard to do. I find it hard to do. Maybe you don't, but I do. In my business, I mean, here's an example. The other day, I was having a good day. My first two clients were upbeat. And then my third client came in, and it was downhill from there. It was just, I'm like, how have you, and she's usually upbeat, but she has a lot of bad shit that's been going on in her life. Her husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Her daughter-in-law had I don't know, just three bad things happened to her. And let's not forget about coronavirus on top of it all. So, so all day long I'm, trying not to let it in, but it gets in, it creeps in.
Creep in there.
That, and as a matter of fact, I texted you. I'm like, you want to come over and have coffee? I need a little inspiration from Mr. Larry here.
Right.
See if you can pull me up out of the hole.
It's like it's harder to ward off when someone else is there, because you don't want to seem like you're being rude and cutting them off.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
right.
really?
I want to be empathetic to my clients.
Exactly.
But, sometimes if I give them an inch, they take a mile, and I've got to hear, every juicy detail, and it's tough.
It's like that book that's out there. It's what's it called? Don't sweat the small stuff.
Well, I wouldn't say that was small stuff that was going on in her life.
So people always read the title of that book. It's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. What's the subtitle?
I think it's all small stuff.
It's all small stuff. And then when you really, really look at it and you really, really think about it, and we think everything that's going on here is such a big deal, it's like a little dream that we're having.
Right.
And really, this is not it.
I know.
Is just
I
this.
know.
And if you can remember that, it's that saying that I keep repeating. I think Wayne Dyer said it the first time that I ever heard it, and yeah, he did. As a matter of fact, and he was saying basically, when you look at the world and you look at yourself and you look at everything in the world that's going on, he said if you can look at it from two different angles. One is most people go through their lives and they occasionally will have a spiritual experience. So they'll say, oh my God, I had a spiritual experience. I don't even want to tell people because they're going to think I'm weird if I tell them this experience I had. And he goes, that's one way of viewing the world. The other way of viewing the world is that you're a spiritual being and you're just having a human experience.
Yes.
And when you really get that,
it's
true.
true.
What are you fearing?
I know.
This is just my human experience.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But you've got to always keep that in mind and not allow yourself to...
You do have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You have You have to keep it in mind because it's easy to get caught
It's
up in
easy to
everything
buy
else.
into all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably like the second biggest conspiracy person that you know.
I know.
I said second. I didn't say first.
We're gonna have the first one on
We're gonna
pretty
have
soon.
the first on.
Yes.
It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah.
And so people say, well, how can you pay attention to all that? And how can you be into all that stuff
Yeah.
and look at that? And I was like, because it's all small stuff. Even though it's crazy and it seems like it's like, it's like one of those messages from God talking about actors.
Right.
We're actors. It's like, well, we're just down here
It's so true though.
playing
We
this role.
Right.
And you think that it's everything, and it's hard to comprehend it. Do you know what I'm saying when you think of it that way?
Right. Right.
I was in a high school, and I'm talking to the class, and I'm saying to them all, I was like, so 99.9% of what you think has no meaning.
Oh,
They were bummed out.
that's great.
As they sat there and thought about it, they're like, what? I said, yeah, it doesn't really mean anything. They're just thoughts that you're having.
Right.
They're no big deal.
And you
But
just
you think that they're a big deal. Because you think that gives you
oh,
importance.
you could, well, the monkey mind. When the monkey mind chimes in,
Yeah, it makes you
the
think
monkey
that,
mind can make a lot of big deals.
it makes you think that you're important, that you're actually that important. Which is kind of
You mean we're not?
odd. Yeah. So,
Oh boy.
which brings us to the whole thing that you were talking about. This is our pre-talk. This is about fear. And we didn't even have pre-talk, but you were talking about fear,
Right.
which is a real big one because I've heard a couple of different things for fear. One is that fear knocked at the door,
I love that one.
and when you answer it, no one's there.
Right.
which
Or
is
false evidence appearing real.
Yeah. And people have different definitions for it. So whatever your definition is will be the meaning,
Right.
whichever definition that you go by. So line up with what you want. It's like
It's
this,
just-
just like the message that you saw from at the church. What are you letting in your head? What are you letting in your head? What are you allowing to come in?
I mean, you have to constantly talk to yourself and talk yourself down off the ladder, off the ledge.
I don't even think it's talking to yourself. I think it's being conscious of what you're thinking about,
Right.
of where your mind is going. And that's a practice because most of the time we just willy-nilly and go through. Caleb and I were just talking before about people and sayings. What saying were we talking about that I mentioned? I don't remember. But anyway, we were talking about how people would just go along and say things because someone told them to say that.
Or you're just so programmed to say it.
You're programmed. You automatically come up with that answer.
Right.
Not that you ever thought of the answer or why you say it,
It's instant replay.
but someone said to say it, and then you just blop, it comes out, and you think that that's who you are, and that's your belief,
Mm-hmm.
and you guard that belief and hold on to it as if it's true. It's kind of interesting. I know it's kind of interesting. It's like, what? Why would you say that?
Right.
Someone told me to say that, but you don't say that. You think it's a belief of yours.
Like what? Like give us an example.
Kid, can you remember the example I was using?
I think we were talking about the counting days things, and then the people's answer.
Yes.
When
Yes.
You say why.
Why? I'll say it nice and clear. So when people are having long periods of sobriety, why are you counting the days of your sobriety?
Not just sobriety. I mean, when you're on a diet, you do the same thing.
You do the same thing. It's like all the rules that you had when you were a child are over. Because when you're teaching a child how to ride a bicycle and they're on the 2 wheels or the 3 wheel or the 4 wheels, whatever you call it,
Mm-hmm.
the little safety
Training wheels, training
wheels, right?
Yeah.
When you take them off, the kid falls down a couple times, right?
Right.
Gets scraped up, they cry, the whole bit, right? And eventually they get going and you don't worry about them anymore.
Right.
You don't think about it. You don't talk about it every day. You don't give them an award every single time that they get on a
Right.
bike.
Right.
They're 28 years old. Hold on. Hold on.
You're doing a
Did you-
great job.
Did you crash today? No. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
You don't
Yeah.
do that. But we have this thing where you're like, why are you counting the days? Because I asked a large amount of people, why do you count the days? And everyone has the same answer. I was like,
And what's the answer?
the answer is, well, you should celebrate your days of sobriety every day because it's so hard to get one of those days. You should celebrate it every day. And I was like, everybody has the same answer, which means someone told you that answer, and now you're repeating it. It's called group thinking.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Sheeple.
Yeah, and if
As
you're-
Emily would
if
say.
you're not if you're group thinking, you aren't thinking, you're being thought.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? And now it comes out of your mouth, and that's what your belief is. And you'll
Right.
go through years without changing it, because it's like a
Wow.
recording. It's like having something that's recorded on a cassette tape. Go back that far, you know, unless someone erases it and changes it,
Right.
you can just keep saying it because
Right.
it keeps going around and around and around. So
True.
you have no idea why you're saying it. You're just saying it. So
Craziness.
it's a little on the crazy side, but
Wow.
you know. But that is how we are programmed. I was having this conversation with someone this week when I was just saying they've been studying mind control, okay, since the 40s.
Who? The people that you were talking.
People that were people that go out and study it. They've
Oh,
been
I thought the
studying it.
person that you were
No.
talking about.
No, I was
Okay.
just saying in general how they've been doing like mind control experiments for that long.
Right.
So if they've been doing that since the 50s, the 40s, and the 50s, they got it down now. And then you sit there and you when you're watching TV and you're watching and saying, who in the God's name would vote for that person? Guess what? They programmed you to do that, and you do it. You just automatically do it.
Hopefully,
Unfortunately,
hopefully
yeah.
things will change in the next 2 weeks.
no, 2 weeks is never going to change anything because we're too ingrained in doing the same thing. Because we've been doing it for so long, we just keep doing it. And it's once again, we are programmed.
I know, but
to
there
do it.
might be change this time because somebody that we know has really rattled things up. And
Well, I won't go into the God message that big, but the God message basically says, because we seem to forget. We have this short-term memory. We sit there and say, this person has done this, you know.
he's doing exactly what he was supposed to do.
I can say his name flat out and just say Trump. Wait a second.
We've got
my ED. There we go.
We've got microphone problems.
Yeah, we can say Trump if you want to say Trump, and just put it on him and say, "Oh, he's awful." He's, you know. And I was like, did people forget? We just went through this with the whole Bushes. We just went through that. So
Right.
they were the worst thing in the world. Now he's the worst thing in the world. It's always that.
Exactly.
It's almost like our country. We always have to have an enemy. We always have to have someone that we're fighting.
Exactly.
Always.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We always have one, and if it's not the
And it's always going to be like this, according to
it's not the Germans,
the messages that I've gotten.
Them, we got to find someone else
that's how humanity
to have that.
solves problems
Yeah.
on the earth plane.
On the Earth plane, which is an interesting plane to be on.
Yes, it is.
It is. So it's like, how do you, like you said, how do you filter out that fear and all that stuff that's happening?
Well, number one, you don't watch TV.
You don't have to watch TV.
Right.
TV programming.
I mean, I know people
That's
that
what we
sit
used to
there
call
and
it.
they watch it. I mean, my mother, when she was with her significant other, he had Fox News on 24/7.
Mm.
It was piped into my mother's ears. I mean,
What's the most amazing part is a lot of people will go to sleep with their TV on.
oh, bad.
So
bad.
what happens is your subconscious is now picking up everything
Mm-hmm.
that you're not listening to, and your subconscious is that